Recently, our garage door has been having a problem. Sometimes it'll only go up a foot, sometimes it'll only go up halfway, and then it just stops. I have to keep pressing the button, and it goes down and up and down, keeps getting stuck, but eventually it does go up all the way. Luckily, in my case, the fix was pretty simple. It was reason number 8, but for the rest of you, if you're having a similar issue with the garage door getting stuck when it's opening, here are 10 reasons why this could be happening. The first reason is a dirty lens on the garage door sensors. These lenses are called photo eyes. They're basically infrared rays, so it shoots a beam from one side to the other side of the garage. This one is the sender, it sends the signal, and the other one is the receiver. And if there's anything on the floor that is blocking this beam, this thing will prevent the door from closing. The sensor that has an amber light, an orange or a yellow colored light, is usually the one that's sending the signal. This one should be a solid light at all times. It should not be flickering or completely off. If it is, then you know that something's wrong or you have a loose connection. Even if I wave my hand in front of the sensor, that light stays on. It's just a solid orange light. On the other side of the door, we have the receiver. That one's usually a green light, and if there's something blocking the way, that one does come off. See that? So what I'm going to do is simply clean the two lenses. I had this actually happen to me once, where the lenses, there was a lot of dust and dirt on them, and that really did make my garage door open intermittently. This last time, this was not the cause, but I have had it before. You can just use a cloth or a tissue or even your finger to clean those lenses up. And since we're already here, reason number 2 is a misaligned sensor. So maybe somebody bumped it, or just with time, with vibration, the sensor slightly went down like this. That might actually let your door open intermittently, but it'll have problems, or maybe your door won't open at all. In this case, you simply have to just align the sensor so it's right at the center, and you should be back in business. If it's really slack, if it's really loose, then you want to tighten this bolt as well to make sure that it's in the center securely. Reason number 3 is tracks that are damaged. So maybe it got hit or somehow bent, maybe somebody drove into it, and your tracks got either misaligned or damaged in one way or another. This might cause the rollers to get stuck as the door is going down, and that will cause the door to stop. With this one, you simply have to physically inspect the tracks, make sure they're not bent or damaged anywhere, any of the sections, and if they are, perhaps you could just take a pair of pliers and bend it back. This problem is more likely if you have teenagers in the house. For example, when I was a teenager, I know I drove into my dad's garage and backed out of it. Luckily, I didn't go through the panel, it just bent in and then bent back, and I never told my dad anything about that. The panel got cracked, but luckily nothing else happened, so I think that went over well. Dad never found out. So if you have any teenagers in the house, perhaps it's worth asking them if anything happened in the garage. Reason number 4 is poorly lubricated rollers, or maybe they're stuck altogether. If you lived in your house for a while and you've never lubricated your rollers, then perhaps this is something you should do, because these rollers with time do start to seize up or maybe lock up completely. To lubricate the rollers, you're going to want to spray some lithium grease right in here where the pins are, where the shafts from the rollers are. So inside of here, and also maybe some right in the bearing as well, just so it spins nice and smoothly. And you're going to want to do this on every single one of these pins and every single one of these rollers. You want to do the lubricating when the garage door is down. That'll make it a lot easier for you. And while you're doing this, you can also check the rollers. Make sure they're nice and smooth. They spin freely. This one's a little stiff, but that's because it's against the side here, against the rail or the track. Make sure they're all spinning. If any of them are locked up, you could try to spin them by force to get it to loosen up, or you might just have to replace that roller. And number 5 is to clean the garage door tracks. If you have a bunch of gunk in here, it looks like somebody at one point sprayed some kind of silicone lubricant in here. It's like all greasy and grimy right here. And on this side too. If we film on this side, there's some nasty black stuff. That probably should not be there. As far as I know, you should not be trying to lube the garage door track. You want to lube the rollers and the pin, but not the track itself. So a good thing to do would be to take some degreaser and some cleaner and just clean this track out real good so it's nice and clean. There's no dirt or grime in there. Both of mine look pretty bad, so it looks like I am going to be doing a follow-up video on how to lubricate the rollers and clean this track as well. On both sides of the garage door, these sensors will have a wire going to it. And sometimes this wire gets damaged, broken, or even cut. And of course, if there's no power going through these wires, these sensors are not going to be working right, which means your garage door will not be closing or opening. And sometimes what happens is there's going to be a wire nut here where the wires are wire nutted together. And if there's a loose connection inside of that nut, sometimes that will cause the door to open and close intermittently, or it might turn off altogether. Because when the garage door is closing or opening, it's vibrating, and that might just be enough to cause that connection to become loose or disconnected, which will stop the door from opening or closing. So what you can do is inspect these wires and make sure it's not cut anywhere or damaged in one way or another. And if it is, if you notice that your wire is cut off, or if you have a wire nut that's been disconnected, it's pretty easy to reconnect these wires if they've been cut. I have a video of 10 different easy ways you can use to reconnect wires or splice them together. You may find that video helpful if this is something that you've never done before. Number 7 is to reset power to the garage door opener. If there was a power surge or a storm went by in the area, maybe the garage door opener control had a little glitch in it, which oftentimes could be reset simply by resetting power to it. Resetting the control is very easy and could very well help this problem. All you have to do is simply unplug your garage door opener from the outlet, leave it out for about 10 seconds, and then plug it back in. You could also do this by turning off the circuit breaker to the garage for 10 seconds and then turning it back on. And number 8 is the bottom seal on the garage door. Sometimes this thing will actually slide off, like in my case. This is what happened to me. This is what was causing my door to occasionally have these little issues where it'll glitch and close back up. This thing actually slides pretty easy. It's not clamped on or latched on in any way. I don't know if it's supposed to be, but I'll show you exactly what happened on mine. So I don't know if my son did this or just this happened with time, but this thing, if we go to that side, this door seal was out far enough where it would hit this bracket on the way down, and sometimes it would snag it a little bit, and that would be enough to cause the garage door to stop opening. So in my case, all I had to do is just grab this seal and slide it back this way. And that's all it took to get that problem fixed. And reason number 9 is a broken or loose metal cable, which is on either side of the garage door. And we're actually going to be able to see this better if we close the door, so let's go ahead and do that. This cable should have some tension on it. It should not be super loose, and obviously it should not be broken and just flopping around. If it is, then that's probably your problem. And reason number 10 is that your force control might be adjusted a little bit too low. Especially when the temperatures outside get colder, sometimes you'll need to adjust this higher towards the plus sign in order for your garage door to have more force to go up or to go down. So this knob obviously adjusts the part where it goes up, and this one adjusts the force of it going down. On different garage doors, this might be a little bit different. You might have some actual push button arrows that you have to press, or this might be under a panel in front or behind the garage door opener. As I was talking about this, we just experienced a small earthquake, so congratulations, you were with me in an earthquake. But anyway, I think my force controls are set correctly, although when the garage door comes down, it comes down a little bit hard, so I could decrease that just by a tiny bit. And as for it going up, I don't think I'm going to need any adjustment here. Maybe just a tad bit to match the other one. But if your garage door is struggling to open, this is one thing you can try. Just try increasing the force on the upside and see if that helps at all. If you have any garage door tips that I missed in this video, please let us know in the comment section below. And if you're still here and not in the comment section below, do you know how to fake a forest fire? Just gather a whole bunch of diesel trucks together and you got it.